Hello everybody, welcome. Hello Shashwat, chess so hard. Daksh, Joe, Aryan, hello everybody and wish you a very happy Diwali. So we are going to continue with the endgame series. Will you accept challenges in this stream, not in this one? We will continue with the endgame series, and for today our topic is bishop versus knight. Yes, our today's topic is bishop versus knight. And after we complete this topic, we will be starting rook endgames. So let's begin. Hello Frank. Hello Radin Habibi. King e7, black king d5, knight f6, pawn d6 and bishop c2. Hello Daksh. Yes, today is a perfect day. In a perfect mood. Happy Diwali to everybody. Yes, I am in traditional Indian dress. Thank you for following Big Bang, by the way. To the different angle for streaming. Yes, we are in different location. Bishop e4, king f6. By the way, I want to tell you all I made a Lichess team and you can join it. Let me send the link. Just a moment. I created Lichess team. So before we begin, I will send the link here. So everybody do join our link on Lichess and we will be playing some tournaments soon from this team. So everybody do join. Come on, create a command. Okay, just give me 1 minute. I will create. This is white to play and win. Thank you for following. Thank you, Aryan. Okay, I have created a command for team, but I guess it is not accepted during live streaming, so it will be enabled from the next stream. All right, let us continue. Okay, 1 minute. No Fortnite, please. I will add this command. I just did what you wrote here. Can you check if it works now? Thank you for following. Okay, okay. I guess it's all right now. Yeah, something is missing in that link, so it does not work. Okay, I will review all the requests later after this stream. So you can just click join now and I will review all the requests after. Now let's begin with the end games. And this is Bishop versus Knight. White to play and win. This is composition by V. Braun, 1955. And in this endgame now Bishop is superior to Knight. The outcome in all endgames of this sort depends wholly on whether the stronger side can place his opponent in zugzwang. Okay, I will do it. No Fortnite, please. Yes, thank you so much. No Fortnite, please. Thank you for your help. We just added, yes. Thank you, Frank, for subscription. Thank you for your support. Mission completed. So now we can begin with the end games and everybody do join the team. So Radin says bishop e4, king e5, bishop c6, bishop e4. Black can't take with king because king f6. He can't take with the knight because of d7. So he will play king e5, bishop c6, king f5, bishop d7, and bishop e6. So black achieves some kind of zugzwang. 1 minute. Let me think. Bishop e4, king c5. I will play king c5. Yes. But that was interesting idea. So we need to create a zugzwang for black in this position. Because as we know from knight endgames, knight cannot waste a tempo. King c5, king e6. Maybe Zweichensack helps. Yes. Interesting position. Bishop e4, king c5, king e6. So there must be some defense. Okay, let me check bishop e4 first. Let me check bishop e4 first. King e5. And what was the move after king e5? Bishop c6. Okay, he has knight g8. We missed knight g8. Knight g8 check, and knight will go back to f6. We have to restrict the knight, yes. So knight can go to g8. We need to control this square somehow. No, this is not draw. This is white to play and win. King f7? After knight g8, you mean? The knight will go back to f6. And black will just play knight g8 and f6. Happy Diwali, Akshay. Bishop b3. So starting move is bishop b3. Yes. Thank you for following. Tata, super. We start with bishop b3 check. Now black has two moves, king e5 or king c5. King c5 is the main move. But if he plays king e5, white just plays bishop e6, and this is a zugzwang now. Black has no moves to play and loses instantly after king e5. So that is why black plays king c5. Now we wait a move. Bishop a2, king c6, king d5. I mean king e6. What if king c5? Bishop d5. Okay, this is the idea. If he plays king c5, we have bishop d5. So he played knight h7. Bishop d5 check. King c5. King e7. Look at these moves. The bishop does not need any support. We want to restrict the knight in some way. Knight f6. Black is also very tricky because we can't take the knight. This pawn is under attack. And the main position that we have to reach is bishop e4. And bishop e4. This is the position that we have to reach. And this is winning for white. Okay, again, I will go from the beginning. So we check first. King e5 is not possible because of bishop e6. We wait a move. Now king c5, again bishop d5. And black is in zugzwang. That is why knight h7. Thank you for following, Manish. Check. We wait. And after this, we restrict the knight in every way. And white wins. So this was the first position of this chapter. The decisive zugzwang. Now the same position, black knight is on f8. Yes, this last position is very beautiful. Bishop e4. This is like unbelievable. Unbelievable move. If we don't know, then we can't find during the games. Thank you, Chess, for following. So we just need to know these ideas, not remember all the moves. King e7, black king c5. So the same position, but black knight is on f8. So you see, same position. In the previous position, black knight was on f6 and now it stands on f8, and this makes a big difference because they say this changes the result of the game and black can draw this position. Composition by Mandel in 1938. White can try in similar way. So white played bishop c2, trying to restrict this knight from these squares. I'm suggesting chess.com for stream and also making team. Why you prefer Lichess over chess.com? It's because I have applied for chess.com streamer, but they still have not responded to my request. That is why I like Lichess. They have already approved me as a streamer on Lichess. Bishop c2, king c6, bishop a4. White can try, but there is no way to make progress. Bishop e8, king d5, bishop f7, king c6, and black just keeps playing the king. He does not move the knight at all. And this is a draw. I like Lichess too. Yes, even I like Lichess. So this makes a big difference, the position of this knight. So far, the endgames that I've seen, these endgames are the most beautiful. Bishop versus knight, they are like aesthetically beautiful positions. They have very beautiful ideas, these endgames. White to play. Can you teach ending rook? Yes, after this we will start rook endgames. So we will finish bishop versus knight today, and then from tomorrow we will be starting rook endgames, and it will be a long chapter. Did we find the solution? No, it was a draw, J suits. So that was the point of that position, that if knight was on f6, white wins, but knight on f8, black is able to draw. Bishop d4 maybe, king b5. There is no way to remember all these ideas. Yes, I know. But we can try. White to play and... white to play and win. Radin says bishop c3, king b6, bishop a5, king c5, bishop d8, king d5, bishop g5, yes, this is the idea, you are absolutely right. Okay, let's go slowly. This was too fast. You are quite strong player, Radin. This is the idea, to be able to play bishop d4 and making black a zugzwang. So if black king is on d5, we can just play bishop d4 and it's a zugzwang for black. That is why we need to achieve that position. Yes, Sekwikut, you also got the idea correct. So to get that position, we have to move the bishop in different ways. If bishop d4, black plays king d5. And now white cannot waste a move. We need to reach a position where king d5 and we play bishop d4 and it is black to move. And then we are winning, because that is the position which makes black into a zugzwang. Can we see a mating position with only kings and knight versus bishop, no pawns? Not in this chapter. So the knight can't move right now anywhere. So we just need to make a triangulation of some kind. With king we call it triangulation. Here we say losing a tempo. But Radin got it right. And let's see the correct moves. So bishop c3. King b6. If he plays king b5, again we play bishop d4 and we reach a zugzwang position. So black plays king b6. After the study, can you also play the position against Stockfish? Okay, we can check with Stockfish also. King b6. Now we have bishop a5 check. A brilliant move. If he takes, then we take the knight and then we can promote. Forcing black to play king b5. Bishop d8. Again, the knight cannot move because of c7. The knight needs to stay on e8. King c5. Again, king b5 will be met by bishop e3. So, king b6. One minute. Bishop g5, then king b5. Okay, if king b6, then bishop e3 check and just waiting move. Okay, I'm confused. I'm sorry with this. And bishop h4. The waiting move did not exist in the above mentioned case. The edge of the board was closer. King c5, bishop f2, king d5, bishop d4, And we reach this position. And after knight d6, c7. Okay, I will check with Stockfish also. Yes, Stockfish suggests bishop c3. King d5, bishop d4 is just winning. So let's try king b5 or king b6. King b5, then bishop d4, as we said. If king b6, bishop a5 check. Also bishop c3. Yeah, not easy for the engine also to find it. I studies these. I still don't understand how they work. Yes, this is quite complicated in game. We just need to understand the idea that we need to reach this position, and that is why white loses a tempo in these moves like that. Hello, Aryan. Knight and pawn versus bishop. Now the next is the side with knight has an extra pawn. So generally bishop side an extra pawn generally wins most of the time because the knight is not very well placed to defend against it. But what if the knight side has a pawn? King c7, knight e5, pawn d6, king h1, bishop b5. Black to play. And they have here asked a question, what will happen? Can black defend or black will lose this? Should be drawn, yes? Let's vote. Bishop e8, king d8, bishop b5. Hello, Akshay. Thank you, Aryan. So it's a draw. It is a draw, you are right. So now white's threat is to play knight c6, and this is called as interference. And to play d7, d8. So black needs to stop it, and he has to play bishop e8. Now if king d8, again bishop b5, and there is no way white can make progress in this position because the bishop stops this pawn. King c7 and bishop e8. And it doesn't matter, white can move the knights, but we just have to make sure when white is threatening to play knight c6, anytime we have to go bishop e8. Hello, Viking. So this is the theoretical draw position. The bishop is a strong piece, sometimes capable of preventing a pawn from queening even without the king's help. So we don't even need the help of the king in this position. Black was saved, first of all, because the pawn had not yet reached the 7th rank, and second, because the bishop's diagonal was sufficiently long. So this diagonal was big enough to save and to make waiting moves for black. Now, next position is similar, but we just shift the pieces all to the pawn will be on this side, so all the way towards one file. So king b7, one file left, knight d5, pawn c6, and bishop a5. And they ask what will happen now. So same position, but one file towards the left side. Black to play. Bishop d8. Okay, so I was thinking bishop d8. We can try to attack this bishop. Let's say bishop d8. Knight moves. We control this square. So we are controlling all these squares. And now the bishop does not have enough waiting moves. And when the king moves, we just attack this bishop. And after that, we play c7. So the difference is that before it had a long diagonal. This is just short diagonal with 4 squares. Before it was long with 5 squares. That is why the bishop can wait. In this position, it cannot wait like that. So white wins in this position. Yes, they have given bishop d8, knight f4, king f2, knight e6, bishop a5 and king a6. White wins. These examples show us the two basic techniques for promoting the pawn, driving the bishop off the diagonal and interference. Thank you for following. Okay, next is tragic comedy. Next is tragic comedy. It's also lost if there is a light square bishop. Yes, it would be lost, right? In fact, then the white will easily play c7 if you have white square bishop. And then only we need to make interference with the knight for c8. Okay, time for some tragic comedy. White king e2, king c2, knight b4, pawn a2, Bishop f6. Black to play. This is game between Steen versus Dorfman, played in 1970. The bishop has a hard time with a rook's pawn since it has only one diagonal to work with. I have to confess that this is the most difficult endgames we have seen so far. We have seen pawn endgames, knight endgame, bishop endgames, but these are the most difficult to understand because of the different geometry of these two pieces of knight and the bishop. So in the game, black played knight d3, bishop a1, knight b2, king e1, king b1, king d2, and after king capture a1, you remember this was the knight endgame we studied, and we talked about where should we put the king, on c1 or c2. And this was something we learned, and they also write here, we know this concluding position from the chapter Knight versus Pawns. So now white needs to find the perfect square, and that is c1. You are right. King c1 is right, because if we put the king on c2, that is the opposite color of this knight, knight goes to d3 and black wins. So we learned this endgame that after king c1, white can draw this and there is no way the king can come out. If check, then we go to c2 and knight cannot lose a tempo. And the draw was agreed like this in the game. But they say here there is a winning technique in this endgame. So after knight d3, bishop a1. Of course, if king b1, we can just take this knight and go to king c2. Knight b2, king e1, and here was a possible victory for black. So the road to victory was noted as far back as the 19th century by Horwitz. Black should have played knight a4 here. Knight a4 instead of king b1, mistake. King e2. King c1. And they have given 3 different moves for white. King e1, king e3, and king d3. Okay, so I will check all of them. King d3, king b1, king d2, and now knight b2, and white is in zugzwang. King c3, king a1, and you see after this we play knight d3. So we need to put white in zugzwang in this position. Then the second way is to play king e3, king b1, king d3, and now we take again because of the same idea, knight d3. Thank you for following. And the last move for white was to play king e1 here. King e1, then knight c5 again. King e2. King b1. King d1. And we reach the same position. Yeah, it is impossible to figure out. So we just need to find the zugzwang. That is the most difficult part of these endgames. So please bear with me, these endgames. Now next one. King c7, black king a8, bishop a4, knight b1, and pawn on d6. And again, we just need to know this idea here. White to play. Instructive example this is. Black wins. How does black wins here? There is no way black can win this. So this is an instructive example. So white plays knight c3. And there is a beautiful move by black here. Beautiful idea for black to defend this position. Bishop e8. One second, let me check. Peter and Izupak, redeem, hydrate, and take care. Bishop b5, you are right. Bishop b5, look at this move by black. Bishop b5, beautiful move by black to defend this position. Knight cannot take this bishop because it's a stalemate. Daksh redeem posture check, okay. So bishop b5 is the move for black. Only this move defends the game for black. So white can play knight d5, king a7, knight b4, and now bishop e8, knight c6, then king c6. Okay, what happens if black plays bishop e8 on first move? So instead of bishop b5, if black plays bishop e8, what is the difference in this position? White plays knight d5 here. White plays knight d5. He loses because of the unlucky placement of his king in the corner. Bishop b5 now. He cannot play king a7 because king d8, I guess. Oh, king a7 then. Knight d5, he loses because of the unlucky placement of his king in the corner. For example, bishop b5, knight b4, bishop e8, and knight c6, and he's a zugzwang like this because the king cannot move and the bishop has no squares. What is wrong? What is... Okay, please don't troll me like that. So this is the zugzwang position, but I want to know what happens if black plays king a7. If black plays king a7. They have not included this line. Oh, king a7 they have. Knight b4. And followed by knight c6. And this is a check. That's why black can't just wait with bishop b5 because there is a check. And again, if he plays king a8, knight c6. I guess the board is frozen. Okay, I will refresh it. So I was telling the difference between bishop b5 and bishop e8. I think you can see now, yes? So they say if black plays bishop e8, he loses this game. Because white plays knight d5 here. And black is in zugzwang. Black is in zugzwang after this. If he plays king a7, knight b4. And now the idea is to play knight c6. Next move. And black is in zugzwang. And if he plays bishop b5, again knight b4 and knight c6. That is why the only move to save this was to play bishop b5. Okay, next one. Happy Diwali, Tamil lad. So next is cutting the knight off. King c4, bishop d4, pawn on d5, black king, d7, knight on h5. White to play and win. Bishop e5. Good move. Bishop e5. First move. So we stop this knight from moving at all. Yes, bishop e5. Excellent move by white. And the knight cannot move. And we just start pushing the pawn. King e7. King c5. King d7. d6. And they give here a very nice line. Very nice line. If king b6 is a blunder, king b6 is a blunder. Do you see why? Yes, Sequiko. Knight f6, knight f6, and black draws this game. Knight f6, and after bishop f6, king d6, and look at this. What a beauty this move was. That is why white plays d6. Yes, d6, king e6. And now we don't have to defend this bishop. We can just play king c6. And after king e5, d7, white wins. So it is important to cut off the knight when it is possible. Very poor knighty. King e1, black king b7, knight c4, bishop h7, and there are many pawns this time: a3, c3, d5, f6, g3, h2. Black has pawns a7, b6, c5, d6, f7, and g5. Do we have to memorize all of this? No, you don't need to do that. We just need to understand the ideas. That's it. Because we just need to see these ideas. We have been playing so long and we have never seen this kind of ideas before. That is why endgames are very important. Bishop g6, knight e5, bishop h5. And then what after that? This endgame has so many pawns. I never had in my life knight plus pawn versus bishop endgame. I can understand that. Yes, even in the introduction, they have told us that they are very rare, but just that these ideas are so beautiful to see and understand. Hello, Iced. Happy Diwali to you too. White to play and win. Thank you for following. Bumblebee Tuna Chess. How about bishop g8 and h4, h5? Okay, bishop g8, we need to play knight e5, then h4, trying to make a pass-up on this side. But I can stop them with the knight, I think. So if we play bishop g8, knight e5, here, takes, and we can play knight g4. And this bishop is attacked. But we can still play h6. We can still play h6 here. Interesting. Oh, we can just play knight f3 and take on h4. So bishop g8, then we play knight e5, h4 we takes, knight f3 check, we take here, bishop takes f7, and we can reach this just in time. And black king stops the pawn. How long have you been playing chess? I have been playing since I was 6 years old. Thank you for following. Yes, somehow knight is able to stop these pawns right now. This position has a very beautiful idea. I will show you. I will show you. Bishop g7, you mean g6 or g8? Even if you play bishop g6, black plays knight e5 for both of them. Yes, this is the line we just saw, right? Bishop g8 and knight e5. And the king will go. King will start moving. Or if you move this king, e2 or f2, black can just take this pawn on f6. So it will not be enough. So the move is h4. We just start moving the pawn directly. h4. Takes. Takes. Knight e5. And now important move is to play bishop. No, there is knight g4. Yes, important move is to play bishop f5. Now the idea is that this pawn is moving. 1 minute, 1 minute. Yes, bishop f5 is right. The bishop deprives the knight of the important squares g4 and d7. So these two squares are stopped, which it would otherwise use for a fight against the h-pawn. It is true that the knight can immediately remove this pawn, but then see what happens. Now the bishop is stopping this knight from both the squares, so the threat is to play h5 and h6. So black plays knight f3 check, and see what happens. Knight f3, king f2, black takes this pawn, and we just play bishop a4, and next move king g3, and we trap this knight. We trap this knight. Black can play king c7, king g3, and he can't play knight g6 because bishop g6 and f7. And this is how we win. This is how we trap the knight. So first move is h4. And black does not have much choice here. So this is why bishops are much superior than knights in the endgame. Now time for a tragic comedy. Thank you for following. Time for a tragic comedy. King f4, black king f7, bishop e5, knight d6, g4, h4, pawns on g6, e6. This is game between Baikova Volpert, played in 1951. And here, black made a huge blunder in this game. Hello Timothy, happy Diwali. Thank you. So in this game, black made a huge blunder. And why black did it? So first of all, black will be able to hold this endgame But black played knight e8, and this knight is so passive now. Black just played knight e8. He should have played knight on any of the other squares, but knight e8 is a mistake hard to explain. Almost any other square by the knight would have led to an uncomplicated draw. And because of this one move, black loses. White plays king g5. Now the king cannot move because this pawn will not be supported. Knight has only one square, knight g7 and king h6. And after knight e8, g5, black resigned. Hello, sleep above all. Thank you. So you see, one move changed the result of the entire game because of knight e8. They say knight move to any other square is just uncomplicated draw. Just because knight e8, we should not put the knight on such squares when it is restricted by the opponent's bishop like that. And after king g5, the only moves, and after g5, there is no move for the knight, and when the king moves, he loses this g6 pawn and the game. Next, king h1, king h7, black knight g8, pawns on f6, c6, white pawn d4, a4, and bishop on c1. White to play and win. Thank you for following Alekin Skave. Of course, happy Diwali to everybody. So knight will be stopping the pawn like this. And a7. Hello, chess to go. Good morning. Bishop a3, yes, trying to stop the knight. So what is the defense? What if the knight doesn't go in corner, as there may be no incentive? But black has to stop these pawns. Black has to stop these pawns. c6, a4, d4, f6. Thank you for following, Joshua. Yes, the position is right. Bishop a3, then f5. So bishop a3 stopping knight a7. Black plays f5 followed by knight f6, knight d5. Push. Okay, first of all a5, then knight e7. a6. Then there is knight c8 or even knight d5. And the pawn will be stopped. And even if we attack, black just goes in the corner and prevents this. No better way to start a new day than watching your stream. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining every day. Today we are looking at the most complicated endgames, that is bishop versus knight, so far. The most complicated endgames that we have seen. So bishop a3, if we play, then black plays f6. f6, f5. a5 then again stops this by knight c7. Is it possible to play d5 in between to stop knight d5? So shall we play first d5 or first bishop a3, f5, then d5? White to move and win, yes. First bishop a3, f5, then d5. So bishop a3 stopping knight e7, f5, now d5. Wow, this is interesting. Now c d5, then we play a5. If knight f6, still trying to go to d7. a6, knight d7, and then we can play bishop c5 and we can win this, right? We can win this. Now the threat is to play a7 and we are controlling all the important squares. Well done. Well done. Now let me understand what if first move d5. What is the difference? If we start with d5, bishop a3. Now this pawn can be pushed, I guess. So why not first move d5? That is my question. What is the difference? Bishop a3, f5, d5, and first move d5 directly. d4, then he plays king g2, and the king reaches in time. If first move was d5 directly, then the puzzle would not be shown here. Okay, we can check with the help of this fish over here. So if we play first move d5, d5, bishop a3, d4, king g2, f5, knight f6, yeah, we are just one move late. We are just one move late, right? That is why we start with bishop a3, forcing him to play f5 first. Thank you for following. And now d5, cd, then a5. And black does not get a tempo. If he plays d4, just a6, and this pawn can be stopped by the bishop like that. Well done. Yes, so the only right move is to play bishop a3 and followed by d5. Now next is an instructive game example. So white king c4, pawns a4, Thank you. Following. A4, E4, F4, H2, bishop on G7, black king, E6, knight C5, pawns on H7, G6, and B6. And this is an instructive example. And this is a game between Karpov, so white is Anatoly Karpov, and black is Sokolov, played in Linares 1987. And they have asked a simple question here. Which pawn should black take? So should black take this or take this? Thank you for cheer, Joshua. You cheered 300. Thank you so much. And welcome to the stream. Thank you for the support, Joshua. I hope you are enjoying this endgame series. Okay, so now the question is, should black take on E4 or A4? I don't know what is happening in the chat. I'm sorry. The mods are not here. But let's just get back to endgames, please. I just ask everybody to get back to chess. I can't read all the messages or chats right now. But let's just get back to chess. Okay, so now the question is to take on A4 or E4. Thank you for following, player. A4 or E4, and why? So some are saying A4, some are saying E4. Thank you for following, Saurabh. So game between Karpov and Sokolov. And they ask here which pawn should black take. And they have given here the analysis that in principle, when you have a knight against a bishop, the task is made easier. And you should always try to keep all opponents' pawn on the same side. Thank you for the gift sub. James Plunter, you're here. You gift up 5 subs. Thank you so much. And welcome. Everybody here is Badur Jobava in our chat. And today he is playing a stream battle. So I request everybody join his team and let's play for him. I will be also playing, so he is leading his team in the streamers battle tonight. So do everybody join his team, and I will also put out the link, one moment, for his team right over here. 1 second. Thank you for following. So his user on Lichess is Athena Palada, but it's easier, I will just send the link. So join this team, and today we will be playing in Streamers Battle. So in principle, we should try to keep all the opponent's pawn on the same side. So that is why black should take here a4. Black has to take here a4 pawn, and this is better. But in the game, Sokolov played knight capture e4. And let's see what happened. King b5. Knight c5, bishop f8, knight d7, and just in few moves black is in trouble. Bishop a3, king d5, and after bishop d8 he also lost this pawn on b6. Thank you for following. And this is why white won. So the principal idea in this positions is that we should try to keep all the pawns on the one side. So black has to take on a4. Next is a composition. King g2, pawn on f2, knight c2, pawn on a5, black king c6, bishop on h6, black pawn on h2. White to play and win. This is a composition by Richard Rati in 1922. Thank you for following. Maddie redeem posture check. Okay. I have granted mod access to James Plunter. James Plunter, if you're here, just go through the chat because I can't do it. And just check what is happening, please. White to play and win. Yes, let's get back to chess. Come on, let's get back to chess. Knight d4 check, king c5. Yes, we are all here for chess actually. Hello, Ru, you will need 1 or 2 mods one day. Okay. I will do it. I have 2 mods, but they are not online right now. And I just started streaming recently. It's not been even 1 month. So that's why we don't have more yet. Okay, but right now I think James Splendor checked what's happening in the chat. I can't see everything. So here, f4. f4, then black will take the pawn. Knight d4, king c5, a6. So knight d4, king c5. He will play king b6. Thank you for following. He will go back and catch this pawn. Thank you, Timothy, for subscription, and thank you for your support. King takes h2. King takes h2, then he can play bishop d2 and go after this pawn. Thank you, James Plunder. This is a very beautiful puzzle. This is extremely amazing idea in this position. Extremely amazing idea. Knight e3. Then he will go after this pawn. If black gets this pawn, if black gets one pawn, then it will be a draw. So we have to try to keep both the pawns for white. a6, a6, king here, then knight b4. So if we start with a6, king b6, knight b4, he can attack this knight with bishop d2. And when the knight moves, he takes this pawn. That is why we need both the pawns. Thank you for following. Yes, that is why we need to have both of these pawns. He attacks the knight. Tonight I am playing for team James Plunder. Yes, everybody play for his team. I don't see how the a pawn can be saved. That is the beauty of this puzzle. And also I created a team yesterday on Lichess. Everybody do join. And soon we will be also participating in events. I'm playing for Nandi today. That is different tournament, Tamil lad. f3. f3, he will go king b5. Yes, he has a very funny description in his group. Do you have a link for that? For our team? Yes, just command is team. Knight b4, again knight b4, then king b5, and for a6 we go king b6, and next move will be bishop d2 and attack this knight. So if we want to keep this pawn, we have to try to support it from light squares. So if we keep the knight, let's say, to b3, then it's a good idea. Thank you for following Spider Chess. Funny name. Knight A1, King B5, Knight B3. Thank you. Still best. What about Knight D4 check? Knight D4, he goes King C5. Yes. Okay. This is a composition, very brilliant composition by Richard Rati. And I will show you the answer. Knight D4 check is right. Knight D4 check. Now if the king goes to anywhere else, let's say B7, C7, we can just take this pawn on H2, and this pawn can't be attacked because knight defends on B3. So let's say if black plays king B7, we just take this pawn, and after this we can support it from this way. So they have given also this line, one moment, king B7, king capture H2, king A6, knight B3, bishop F4, king H3. This is a long line. King G4, bishop B8, and now white will be winning. F4, king B4, and he just plays F5. King B3, F6, king B4, F7, bishop D6, and A6. And this is winning for white. So the main line after knight D4 is to play king C5. And now here is the brilliant move by white, and it is king H1, double exclamation mark. King H1 is the best move in this position, and the answer is because black does not have any move. It is zugzwang. Black does not have any move at all. If he takes the knight, A6 and A7 will promote. He has no squares for the king. These are controlled, and if he moves the king at all anywhere, there will be if king D6, there is knight F5 check. If king here, then we can just play A6, and no move for the bishop also. Bishop F8, then knight E6. These squares are controlled. Bishop cannot move anywhere, again knight E6. If he goes here, knight B3 check. And this is how white wins. King H1 is the move, and 1-0. There is not one square for the bishop where it would not be vulnerable to knight fork. Yes, this is fantastic. Monica is here. Hello, Monica. How are you doing? Yes, this is extremely exciting and fantastic chess composition by Rete. Now, next one. Thank you for following. Okay, now next one, also beautiful position. White king on D3. Thank you for following. Black king C6, knight B5, bishop G2, white pawns A2, D4, F5, G4, and black pawns on G7, F6, D5, and B4. Black to play and win. Knight c3. But white has a defense after a3. White can play a3, right? Thorough, but I can read him, hydrate and take care. Okay. And Daksh also read him, hydrate and take care. Tell best Daksh 2 times. Hydrate and take care. I need a lot of water. So the idea of this position is that if we go knight c3, then white plays a3. That is the idea. King a3, so I think you mean knight a3. But how to win this? Because the king cannot move, the d5 pawn will be under attack. I'm streaming early today because I want to complete this chapter, Bishop versus Knight, so that from tomorrow I can start rook endgames. Knight d6. But what is the idea for black? Winning idea for black? We have 2 more positions after this, and then we will complete today's chapter. Rook endgames is cool. Rook endgames is going to take a long time. Jean Louis says knight c3. If a3, then knight e2. You are absolutely right. You are right. Look at this beautiful line, knight c3. Now we are attacking a2. There is no way to defend this. And when white plays a3, we play knight e2. Brilliant move by black. The idea is that if white takes the pawn, we give this fork and we win the piece. And if black's knight is taken, then we take here and we promote. This is the solution. Well done. And there is no defense, so white has to just lose this pawn, and black has huge advantage after that. But well done in finding this knight e2 move. This was the main move of this position with this idea, knight f4 and ba3. So last two positions, and we will complete this chapter. Where do you find these puzzles? We are looking from the book Dvoretsky's endgame manual. King f3, knight e5, pawn on f6, black pawn f7, bishop g8, black king b8. White to play and win. This is this book, this Dvoretsky. Hi VVCS, happy Diwali to you too. And everybody here, happy Diwali. We have today the biggest celebration in India, the biggest festival of the year. And it is starting from today, so it will go on for a few days, 4-5 days. It is called as the Festival of Lights because we light firecrackers and then we light up all our house, even the entire city. They have lights everywhere. Then we make sweets, we visit our relatives and friends and give them gifts. So it is like the biggest celebration. It's like the Christmas, but in India the biggest celebration is Diwali. Move king up, knight d7 and knight f8. But one moment, knight d7, king c7, knight f8. Thank you for following, Billy Fox. Knight f8 can lock up this bishop, right? Thank you for following, Inspiration 1. So this looks like an interesting idea, knight d7 and knight f8, so that this bishop does not move. If this bishop gets out, then black will have defensive chances. Do they fight in the stores during Diwali? No, why will anybody fight? So if we start moving the king, maybe bishop h7 is possible. Or, let me think. No, he will also start moving the king. Yes, we have the answer already. We have the answer already. So who suggested knight d7 and knight f8? Congratulations. Jean Louis, I think. So knight d7 check, king c7 and knight f8. First we have to trap this bishop. The bishop does not move at all. And when the king tries to go towards the knight, let's say king d8, king f4, king e8, knight is attacked and looks like our knight is trapped, but we just ignore it. Play king g5, king h6, and black is in zugzwang right now. Black is in zugzwang. The bishop can't move, and after king e8, king g7, white wins. What if later king comes to e7? I don't think there is way to do that. After knight f8, the bishop is trapped. If the king goes to d6, we just defend the pawn and you can't attack this pawn on f6. That is why this is the only way. And after king h6, white wins. So last position for today in this stream. White, king g6, Knight a5, pawns on d3, b6, king b8, bishop on h8, and black pawn a7. King g6, knight a5, b6, d3, king b8, bishop h8, a7, d4. White to play and win. What do you call the colors festival? It is different. It is called as Holi. Holi. Yes. This after this position we will complete this chapter, and then we will move on to rook endgame from tomorrow. White to play and win. Willy Fox, redeem, hydrate, and take care. What's the idea behind Holi? It's a celebration, it's tradition, and to celebrate colors and colors of life. Knight c6, king b7, bishop ba7. I will play king a8. Knight c6 check. King b7, ba7. I will just move king a8. Good morning, Rick Fritz. So somehow I think we have to go like this and trap this bishop. Can be an idea. Take the pawn, king a7, then knight c6, knight d8. Then he will play bishop e5. I have a brilliant puzzle from Adar Dovretzky's book. Okay, you can send it to me and I will share with it in the next stream. Send it to me on Twitch or Lichess. b6 takes a7. This, the knight c6, then king b6. And what do you do after that? Now if you go knight d8, I will run with my bishop. So we can't give this chance for black. Why not knight c6, king b7, ba7, then I will play king a8. I will play king a8, and if you play now knight d8, again bishop e5. King f7, bishop a7, king a7. 1 minute. Thank you for following, GM Ra. Knight e5 is not possible. Bishop will take on e5. Happy Diwali, everybody. After king a8, king f7. I like this idea. So knight c6, we take here, and black can play king a8, and we play king f7, trying to go to g8. But even after king g8, there is bishop f6. Now I will play again king f7. And what to do after that? c6, b7, a7, a8, f7, b7, a8. Then king a8. So we have suggestion knight c6 takes, king b7, a8, and after king a8, what to do after that? Knight c6, king b7, knight d8, king b6, knight f7. But I'm not sure about that endgame, really, because black has an extra pawn. And we have to be 100% sure if the knight on h8 comes back in time to save. Yes, let's not think about that. It would be too difficult. It is a draw. No, it is not. It is white to play and win. After pawn takes king a8, king f5, king b7, knight d8, king a7, knight f7 traps the bishop. That looks like it. That looks like it. One moment. So first knight c6. Now king b7 is forced. If we place king a8, then we just take here. And after king b7, we give this check and trap this bishop. So he has to play king b7. Then after that, take this, king a8. But if we play king f5, he will play bishop g7. The bishop will start moving. White can play b7, but let's say he plays a6 or king c7. If black is able to get this bishop out, then he can hold this position. What else? I think I found it. One moment. So first is knight c6 check. Knight c6 check, king b7, ba7, king a8, king f7. Now the bishop can't move, so black will play king b7. And we make a queen, a8 queen, king a8. And we just play king g6, and black is in zugzwang. Look at this. The bishop can't move. All the squares are blocked. And the king can't move here. The king has to go to b7. And this is a zugzwang. And then we play knight d8 and knight f7. So after king b7, knight d8 check. And then we take this bishop. Thank you for following. We take this, and we are just in time for our pawn. Yes, this was very beautiful to find this zugzwang, because we had to give knight d8 with a check, otherwise the bishop moves. So this takes, and king f7. We give up the tempo and force black to play these moves. Thank you for the cheer, Peter. And after this, black is in zugzwang and white wins. Can anybody tell me she plays on chess.com and accept challenges? Thank you, Joshua, for the cheer, 100. Thank you so much. Yes, I do play on Leeches and chess.com, but not today. We do special streams for that when we play against viewers. But everybody, I made a team on Leeches, so you can join in, and we will be playing tournaments there soon. So this is the link for the team. And thank you for joining today with me in this most difficult yet most beautiful endgame, because these pieces, bishop against the knight, creates the most beautiful geometry on the chessboard. And now after this, we will be diving in from the next stream into rook endgames, the most difficult, the most vast, and the most interesting topic, and the most scary for some players is the rook endgames. And this will be divided into different segments, like rook against the pawns, rook against rook plus pawns. There are so many situations, 1 pawns, 2 pawns, then both the sides have pawns. So it will be a long journey just to go through this rook endgame. So join me in these streams, and we will be learning many positions, many instructive ideas in these streams. So now I will stop and we will make a raid. So again, wish you all a happy Diwali, and I will celebrate today and join you tomorrow. Just a moment, let's raid. So we are raiding. Why so serious? Let's say hello to him. Thank you for following. Alright, bye and take care, everybody.